Welcome back to the Hoops and Stuff podcast. I'm your host, Isaac, and today we're going to be talking about whether or not we think that Jordan Love will be the long-term quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. And we're also going to talk about Aaron Jones and if we think he'll bounce back this season or not. All right, so first we're going to start off with Jordan Love, and this is going to be his first season actually starting. Consistently starting. In his rookie season, he did start one single game with an injured Aaron Rodgers. But he only started that one game before this season, and then last season he didn't start at all. So this is his first season, like I said, consistently starting since they got rid of Aaron Rodgers. And Jordan Love has currently played 7 games and started all 7 of them. And I want to compare him to a young Aaron Rodgers because obviously we've seen Aaron Rodgers sit out for the first 3 years of his career. He didn't start a single game, and he only played a total of 7 games before he actually started to start full-time start. And I feel like their stats are just like their story, not even their stats, like the story that they have is very comparable. Like we have for Jordan Love, he sat out for the first 2 years of his career. Like after he got drafted, he sat out for 2 years behind a star quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. And then Aaron Rodgers, when he was drafted in 2005, he sat out for 2005, 2006, and 2007. I didn't start till 2008 because Brett Favre left. So they were both behind a star quarterback and then became starters. Jordan Love in his 3rd season, Aaron Rodgers in his 4th. And Aaron Rodgers only went 6-10 in his first season, because back then they only played a total of 16 games with 17 weeks because of the bye. But now they play 17 games with 1 bye week, so a total of 18. So obviously it's changed since then, but still, right now Jordan Love is 2-5. So he only needs to win 4 more games to be to have the same winning numbers as Aaron Rodgers, and obviously that's below 50% win, or 50 win percent, but we still have 10 games left in the season for Jordan Love, and that means that he has not even finished half of his games. And he has already thrown 135 completions. Aaron Rodgers, in his first season consistently starting, threw for 341 completions. And he threw for a total of 13 interceptions. As of right now, Jordan Love does have 8 interceptions, which is pretty bad. That's an interception a game. But he could definitely fix that by the end of the season. And comparing their touchdowns, Jordan Love has thrown 11 so far, and Aaron Rodgers threw for 28 total touchdowns. 28 total touchdowns in his first season starting. But that doesn't mean that Jordan Love can't, he's, like I said, he hasn't even played half the games. So he's on pace to be somewhere around that 28 mark right now in his career. So we definitely could see that from Jordan Love in his first career starting season, and like I said, be compared to Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers in his first year starting threw for a total of 4,038 yards. Jordan Love so far has only thrown for nearly 1,500 yards. So he might get a little less yards than Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers probably... Actually, I probably should check this real quick. I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers probably had better receivers, but we'll look that up right now so that I don't get that wrong. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he didn't really have anybody crazy. Donald Driver and Greg Jennings were his wide receivers, and they combined scored 14 touchdowns. So, I mean, they aren't bad. I mean, they both had over 1,000 receiving yards. But they're probably better than a rookie Jayden Reed, Christian Watson, who was out the first couple weeks and hasn't really been playing that great, honestly. And Romeo Doubs has actually been playing solid for Jordan Love, not too bad. But honestly, I think that this could end up being the same thing for Jordan Love. Like, I don't have any doubts that Jordan Love could potentially be I'm not saying that he's going to be as good as Aaron Rodgers, but I think that he has the potential to be a solid starter for this Packers team. Obviously, it's his first year starting, so he's not used to it. Like, I feel like he's just got to get used to it, get going with the flow and stuff, and then he'll be a more consistent and a better quarterback. He'll get the team more wins. Hopefully next year he steps up his game. He works on his game in the offseason, stuff like that. And if not, then I think that he'll be a quick decision to move on from. Like, I think if he doesn't start getting better within the next year or two, like if he's not better yet next year or in 2 years from now, I think they should just move on. They shouldn't try to keep going with him, and they should just try to find somebody in like free agency or something like that. Now for Aaron Jones. So we've seen him in week 1 against the Chicago Bears. He had a great game. He had 9 rushing attempts for 41 yards, and he had 1 rushing touchdown. And he was targeted 4 times receiving, and he got 2 receptions for 86 yards, and he had another touchdown with receiving. So he had combined 2 touchdowns. He played really well. And then at the end of that game, he ended up getting hurt. He missed... What did he miss? Like... I don't even know. He missed like 5... Like, he missed a ton of games. And so... Actually, I think he missed like either 3 or 4. So that's still a pretty decent amount for like one of our key pieces to our offense. And then after he came back, we've lost every single game. We played his first game back. We played Detroit, which was a 20-34 loss. He had 5 rushing attempts for only 18 yards and no rushing touchdowns. And he had 2 targets for 1 reception receiving, and he had -4 receiving yards with no touchdowns. Then the next game that he played, I think he was out for another week or 2, and he played Denver, which Denver has a terrible rushing defense. I mean, they got ran all over by multiple teams all in a row, and they still lost to Denver 17-19. He had 8 rushing attempts for 35 yards and no touchdowns, and he had 5 targets receiving for 3 receptions, and he had 22 yards with no touchdowns. So again, another week with 0 touchdowns. And finally, this past week, week 8, we played Minnesota, and it was another loss, 10-24, and they lost Kirk Cousins in the fourth round, or in the fourth quarter. Sorry. He had 7 rushing attempts for 29 yards, no touchdown, and he had 5 targets again, and he had 4 receptions this week, but only for 17 yards, and no receiving touchdowns. So a third week in a row with no touchdowns, and he fumbled. So Aaron Jones has been playing terrible, and so since he came back from his injury, I think that he is going to continue to play like pretty bad for the rest of the season. But I think that he will play better next season once he gets that whole off season to rest, and he gets some resting time. He can heal, hopefully fully heal, because maybe it's just like a problem with his leg. Maybe his leg's still hurting because it was like something with his quad or something, or his hamstring. But he hopefully can get some rest in the off season and get better, and hopefully come back next season and dominate like he did in week 1 against the Bears, because he, like I said, he played really well. He won 38-20 that week, and Aaron Jones played phenomenal. So hopefully, like I said, he can have a whole season like that next year, because that's what I was expecting out of him this year. But like I said, nothing crazy so far this year besides week 1. That's going to be it for today's episode. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next Sunday here on the Hoops and Stuff podcast.